Hey, what's up? It's Teo Gamer, and this is a rather short video. I'm not going to harp too much on the subject because I've covered it in several of my other videos. Um, this was basically brought to my attention by several of the people that are subscribed to my channel, which is an abnormal amount because I only get usually 1 to 2 people, if that. Maybe one person here or there, and it's usually far and few in between. Because I don't want to I make it sound like people always message me. People barely message me, but when they do, it's with stuff like this, and it's on a rare occasion they do. But some of the time I just ignore it. But this one was messaged to me by like 4 or 5 different people. That's the most I've ever pretty much had messages. So, and after having seen this, it's just people, please stop sending me this stuff. I've covered it. You don't really need me to talk about this anymore, but it is rather amusing. So let me explain what I'm talking about here, and then I'm just going to cut it out. Unfortunately, first of all, I want to explain that I can't stream Watch Dogs. My computer's just not equipped to be able to stream it and play it at the same time. So unfortunately, I won't be able to do that. I'll try to make some gameplay recording of it and then upload it, but for the time being, I don't know if that's going to work. All right, so anyway, let me get into this video here. So pretty much the gist of it is, if you're familiar with my channel, or if you're not familiar with it, I'll explain it real quick. I don't let people talk me in circles, and usually I have a specific tone in my video to address what's being talked about in the video, so my tone will match pretty much how people really need to be talked to, because I don't let people talk me in circles. I don't allow excuses to be used. I cut right to the chase, cut through all the bullshit, and I just put it out there. The videos I make aren't going to change anything, so it's just interesting to watch, but it's just something I do. It's fun. Not that I have to justify that, because I just don't really give a shit if people want to believe me, don't care. I just don't care about any of that shit. It's just like I make my videos and put them out. So, but what this one is interesting because I've touched up on this, and after going through it, and this is disgusting. It's ridiculous. So, I just want to warn people, this is going to get pretty vulgar. I'm going to be swearing an over excessive amount in this, and it's almost like I can't even bring myself to talk this way because the subject matter is just so boring at this point and so stubborn. It's like I can't even set the tone for this, so I'll do the best I can, but it's going to come out half-assed. All right, so anyway, let me get into it. All right, so I've covered in many of my videos, or several of my other videos, I don't want to keep saying many, but I've covered in several of my other videos that the gaming community, when they do specific things, or they buy their games from specific services, they're just fucking stupid. That's the bottom line. The mentality of this shit is, it's literally the equivalency of when people complain that their game is broken, like Skyrim, but then you find out they're filling their game with mods, and then they actually argue that the mods aren't the problem, and they blame the game developer. So in this particular case, I'm talking about the performance issues. This is why you can't really get mad. I can't even friggin' act this out anymore. It's ridiculous. So anyway, the mentality of people, come up with a new analogy. Basically, if these people on the forum complaining about performance issues, because a lot of them are getting their game, 99.9% of them on the forums, on the Ubisoft forum, have all purchased their game from either Steam or Epic Games. And if you know how I am with Steam, I don't give a shit if you want all your games in the same library. You are a fucking idiot for buying an Ubisoft game through another service, and then when something happens to the game, you blame Ubisoft. This is literally the same fucking thing as these assholes going to a used car dealership, buying a used vehicle, and then when something goes wrong with it, they have the balls to blame the maker of the car for the problems. The maker of the car has no bother to help you once you bought the car secondhand. And just like that, people are buying their games, buying this type of game off of Steam and Epic Games, and then they're bringing the complaint problems to the Ubisoft forum because Ubisoft made the game. But again, I revert you back to the car analogy I just did. You can't buy a game from one place and then, because of the people who made the game, go to the people who made the game about the problems they can't control. Epic Games and Steam related problem. If you bought the game on Epic or Steam, your problems for those games belong on their respective forums. Period. Because Ubisoft is not responsible for what Epic Games does, nor are they going to fix that shit because that's not Ubisoft. So to sum this all up, this is basically the premise. For the past 10 years, the same problem has been happening from the same groups of people every single game on every single release of this nature. So an Ubisoft game for the past 10 years on either Steam and now also on Epic start winding up having the same problems because the people are doing the same exact thing. They just cannot leave it well enough alone that if you purchase one of these fucking games on the other services, you are going to have a problem. That is why these performance problems are the way they are. And what's funny is people are like, I've never had a problem. I want all the games in one library. None of that shit is relevant because here's the stupid level of the arguments that people use, as well as how stupid these arguments people are using. Number one, I fucking hate these. I hate Uplay, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? You can't play the fucking game without Uplay. So Uplay is going to be on your computer whether you like it or not. Yes, I understand that you're saying you don't like it. The only way to fucking play the game is with Uplay. You have to have Uplay installed on your computer. So that's the first thing. If you buy the game through Epic Store, you have to have Epic Games Launcher installed on your computer. That's 2 launchers. If you do it through Steam, you have to have the Steam launcher involved. So either way, you wind up with a launcher from Uplay on your computer. So to say, I want all my games in one place, that's why I bought it through Steam, is a fucking retarded argument. You sound retarded when you do that. Here is the reason I say this. Not that I have to justify this, but this is the stupidity level of this. That's how you have to fucking say it, because these people are just that dumb. Actually, I made a grammatical mistake because I'm fucking tired, but anyway, the point here is the game does not need anything except Uplay to run. I don't give a shit if you want to say, oh, I want all my games in the same library or the convenience. The only thing the game requires to run is Uplay and de novo. That's it. When you involve Steam, the only thing Steam or the Epic Games Launcher does is launch the Uplay launcher, and then they sit in the background doing absolutely fucking nothing. If you do not understand, or if people do not understand how that causes a problem with the game's performance, you're a fucking idiot. So I'll break it down for you. If you have the game on just Uplay, here is how it works in a nutshell, and I'm breaking this down in basic terms so it can be understood. I'm not going to get into this technical bullshit because I don't know it, but I am going to break it down on how this works. When you buy a game, when you buy this type of game strictly off of Uplay, Uplay is running, and de novo is running. Uplay is checking in with the Ubisoft server. That's it. Those are the only things running. Now let's add Steam to the mix. And if you bought it on Epic, whenever I use Steam, just replace Steam with Epic if you got it, because it's the same thing. Whether it's Steam or Epic, the same principle that I'm about to outline applies to both. So just replace wherever you got the game with the perspective understanding. Okay, so Uplay and de novo is what the game uses if you just straight up have Uplay, and then Uplay checks in with the Ubisoft service, which is now called Ubisoft Connect. So anyway, now when you add Steam to the mix, now not only do you have to have Uplay running and de novo is running in the background, but now Steam is running in the background. On top of that, Steam is making sure that Uplay is running. Uplay is now making sure that Steam is running. Steam is now making sure de novo is running, and so is Uplay. Now you have 4 fucking things added to your computer. Okay? Plus, now you have all the other shit Steam runs in the background that you can't shut off. Now you have Steam checking to see if Denuvo's running. You have Uplay checking to see if Denuvo is running, and now you have Denuvo also checking in with the computer, checking in with Denuvo. You've literally overloaded your computer because of a piece of shit software that doesn't need to be on there. And as I said, if you try to fucking run the game without Steam, once you purchase it through that or Epic Games, the game won't even fucking launch. You can't launch the game unless all these things are running on your computer at the fucking same time. You are literally overloading your computer with excess shit you did not need to do because the only thing the game needs is Uplay. That is it. But you decide you want all your games in one place. Okay, fine, whatever. You just caused the fucking game to require a secondary launcher on top of DRM on top of DRM. So you've added 2 forms of DRM to that instead of just one, and now you're straining your computer running all this shit in the background because of all the stuff that Steam is running. You're a fucking idiot. It's that simple. Why the fuck would you purposely go out of your way to cause a game to require a service that doesn't do anything for the game? How are you that fucking lazy where you actually need a second service to launch the first service of the game? You literally can't have an icon on your desktop or in your quick launch bar and either click it once or double click it twice. You literally have to launch Steam, then click that to launch the launcher of Uplay, and then Steam does nothing except run in the background with all the shit going through it. You people pull this shit and then you wonder why you have all these fucking problems. You're a retard, period. Stop buying your games through fucking Steam and Epic. It's that simple. You've been doing it for the past fucking 10 years. On every single release, every single time, on every single game. For the past 10 fucking years, you've had the same exact problem in every fucking time. No, I run my games. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, actually it does. If you haven't learned by now, you are the stupidest fucking people on the face of this planet. You are literally overloading your computer to do something it doesn't need to do. You still have to have all 3 launchers on your computer, so why the fuck would you cause a game to now require 2 of those instead of 1? You're retarded. You can still add a non-Steam game to your library, which still means Steam is running in the background. The difference is now you don't need it to run the game. The next thing people are doing that is stupid is they keep jacking up their settings on settings their computer can't handle. Now, I want to point out that I find it very interesting for people who like to argue with me or debate with me about this, how out of the entire 10-year time span of buying these games, and I have them on Uplay while other people have them on Steam and Epic or whatever, the only problem I've ever had is when the game itself when a game itself, it was one game, had an actual problem crashing, and that was Skyrim. Until they fixed it. But other than that, all these people posting these complaints about performance issues, games crashing, and all that other shit are all coming from people that bought the game from Steam and Epic. Because out of that 10-year time frame, all the complaints, I've never had a single fucking problem with any of them. You cannot, what are you going to do? Say that I got lucky in my game? My game is special every fucking time for the past 10 years? No, clearly I know what I'm talking about because I'm the one not having the problems. Everybody else is. And I know that sounds cocky to say, but it's a fact. I've never had any of the same problems, not once. So if the game itself is the problem, I would be encountering these things. Through just, even maybe once in a while. But the fact of the matter is, there's too many games that have gone by like this over such an extensive period of time for if it was the game for me not to have these problems. I would have had it at least in two of the games I purchased. But I didn't have it in one, not any of them. So that clearly tells you something, that these people are fucking stupid because they don't know what they're doing. It's like, I'm like one of the last people that know how to properly fiddle with the settings. Because if you go and look at the Ubisoft forum right now, everyone's like, I can't believe this is crashing, this mission's glitched, blah, 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 blah. It's the same complaints every fucking game. However, Why is it I'm able to get a constant 55 to 60 frames per second with the lowest dip happening between 40 and 43 frames per second, and then my game runs? Don't have crashes. I don't do anything. Nothing happens. I don't understand what the fuck is wrong with these people to the point where they don't understand to stop buying their fucking games on Epic and Steam and stop running the games on settings you can't fucking handle. It's that simple. Everybody is doing that. It's gone on. This has gone on for so fucking long. If you can't even see the pattern that this is happening with every game that comes out, and then compare what happens to them with me, then you're an idiot. It's that simple. I don't understand how stupid. How do these people get this fucking stupid? I don't understand. So, unfortunately, there's no talking to people. This is just going to continually go on and on and on and on and on. But until then, I'll have a fun time playing the game at the X amount of frame rates per second, because I know how to set my settings. If you're going to argue with me, the difference is my game runs, yours doesn't. So it's like, fuck off. And that's all there is to it. So until then, this is Teal Gamer signing off. Have a good day or night wherever everybody is. Bye.